position here to see if they can get onto Caps, but I don't think there'd be particularly much yes.
Serial Chains connects, the Bone Skewer does too. Caps below 200, Peach goes forward, first blood secured. And Sama and Mikyx still got flashes available. Abbedagge needs to try find that target, distorts forward, doesn't connect with the Chains, stunned in place, finally looking for a kill.
Oh,
No, he doesn't do it!
What?
He does not do it! Mickey, you so fine!
How?
I kill one.
You're fine.
Nice.
Oh, he's not on you, not on you!
I'm running.
Oh yeah, I'm running. No worries. Make order. Can we do that?
Wait, he's running?
Oh, he's rolling. Okay.
What?
Needs to do something magical. Abbedagge and Peach in the win.
Oh my God.
Goodbye, Abbedagge!
G2 don't look like they can be stopped. Here in the LEC, they're currently up 2-0. Also, G2 goes in EMEA Game Changers are currently in their finals and also up 2-0, finishing their game at the exact same time. It's insane, but let's talk early game because this was the most heartbreaking calamity sequence I've ever seen from Excel. It looks decent at the start, right? They got a kill, so they're up 100 gold. I just hit the invisible button. They should be fine. Even the bot lane has to go for a reset. If you look at the jungle right now, they're taking Dragon. They're gonna maybe get a plate, deny some minions. It's all fine. But Limit has other ideas. Starts off, he sees Mickey and Han sort of down here underneath the turret, goes to the hook on Han, just trying to cancel some recalls, be annoying, keep them in lane so that this next wave can be shoved in and denied underneath the turret. And actually, he knows he's safe to do this because they have a sapling in the bot side jungle that tells them that Yike is going to be on the top side of the map, and they can really look to punish here. There's a slight problem though, and you'll notice that it's the mana bar. After using the Q, he no longer has E, and he thinks he's fine to go for it still because the Mickey Q was already sent out, but Mickey's auto attacks still apply the passive, so now Limit has nowhere to go. You're stacking up the Braum passive, he's stunned, he dies. Bad news, for sure, but still, it's fine, right? Because this dude, level 6 Malachi, is coming with a giant ult that's gonna kill these players underneath the tower. They're gonna dive, they're gonna get 2 kills for it, it's fine. Except, Patrik picks up aggro here. Crazily walks right into a little bit of the range and ends up taking 2 turret shots before he can pull it off. Didn't even realize, actually, sorry, he picks it up here again. He thinks Peach's ultimate is going to pick up aggro, I believe, and ideally this dive is going to work. If Peach draws first aggro, they can reset it with the W, then Patrik can come in and finish it off with the auto attacks, but instead, he gets taken down too low, and through all of this, the weak side, where Odoamne was playing, where they knew Yike was, is just trying to farm, man, but the dive ends up coming in, and he falls. Ideally, they would have been able to trade on the bot side, but hey, all good, right? Because now Abbedagge is going to enter the fight. He had the push in mid. He's able to run all the way down. Caps can't actually follow, and they're going to get this kill for sure, right? These players are too low. It just, you can't mess this up. He hits both players with the W. The autos come in, but hold on a second here. Hold on a second. Abbedagge gets stunned, misses the E. These 2 players, that's 2 auto attacks to kill. Abbedagge has time for 2 auto attacks. Number 1, onto Han Sama. Number 2, onto Mickey. And because of this, there's time for the shield to come up. Abbedagge gets turned around on, can't actually deal the damage through it all, and falls with no one on G2. Dropping on the opposite side, it's an absolute heartbreak. And off of that, you'll notice coming in, because of the top lane kill, that's 2 turret plates picked up for BrokenBlade. So now Excel have to punish BrokenBlade, or they have to be able to do it. Limit off of the reset, I say when he died, runs into top lane, but BrokenBlade still turns it around onto Excel. Yike is able to come here, he's still onto the fight. Excel tried to fight on both sides of the map and get punished. And this could have been even worse. Could have been worse than 6 kills. These minions would actually kill Limit if there was a ward, if there wasn't a control ward and Limit wasn't able to get into his passive. He actually dies to those minions. Somehow it could have been worse. And through all of it, when it was an 800 gold advantage for Excel, it goes 1.5K in the opposite direction. But credit to Excel because somehow they still made the game close. So I guess tell me how that happened? I don't know.
There was a lot of things to break down from this game, but yeah, this sad and unfortunate turn of events for Excel. Actually, they managed to stay in despite the tools they had. I saw the Pyke pick not paying out in the early game. I was like, what are they going to do with this champion later on?
That situation in pro play, it's got a code word. It's called suco mucho. You know, you go for these plays and it backfires, and it happens again and again and again. It just happens. You know, luck is such a terrible term sometimes to use in League, but that's one of them where it's like, oh, that was just so unlucky. Like, what's the point? You know, may as well keep playing and laugh it off.
Yeah, just move on. Let's see what can happen next game. But focusing a bit on G2 here, it's a different team, I feel, compared to last week. Not to take anything away from XL and the fact that they brought them to Game 5, but every player is awake today, starting with BrokenBlade, once again on the top lane, just smashing it.
Yeah, you can say everything's going wrong for XL. You can also say everything is going right for G2 right now. BrokenBlade, not just in this game, but throughout the entire series, has been putting out a massive performance. And earlier today, we were talking about Odoamne, BB, who's actually going to be the best top laner here in Europe. Well, after the first 2 games of this series, I can confidently tell you, BB is looking like the best top laner we have in all of Europe right now. He's been absolutely smashing it. And this time, he didn't suck on Jax in the laning phase. He did well from the get-go, and that put him in this massive position where in team fights, he was on it every single time.
Yeah, and he blind picked the Jax on 3 on blue side to give Odoamne a counter pick, quote-unquote, on red. Oftentimes in the LPL, you'll see players like 369 go towards a Gragas pick. Poppy's another good one, but that was banned away, I believe. But he goes for the Gnar, which isn't really a winning matchup, especially after Sunder, and especially if you're playing weak side the whole game, you actually can get dove quite easily with Jax Rel. First dive comes in, we saw the telestrated breakdown from Ender. Second play comes in with limits moving up, he gets 2 kills, right? And from that point onwards, Jax is unlocked, and through the early game where it should be oppressed against the Gnar, right? So when he gets to team fights, he can wreak havoc, and I feel like BB's Jax has been a staple throughout the year. I think it was in spring or summer, he had like 8 games of Jax, most played, so this is a pick
one of the only players.
It was banned in 4-5 in game 1, but this time around, they're confident to early rotate, knowing that maybe Odo doesn't want to go towards something like the Gragas.
Yeah, and BB has blind picked in both series. Renekton blind pick beforehand, R5 to Odo, this one as well with the Jax, but also just the forward percentage you saw there. That was almost 70%. Now that means he's spending more time on Odo's half of top lane than his own. He's ready to take the most out of his advantages, finding plating. You saw it a lot with the Renekton when he went for the Doran Shield second win, but also just in this game with the matchup, he is ready to take what's his.
This game should have been a bot side versus top side game, right? If those plays went well for XL, the Xayah would be unlocked, the Kog'Maw would be behind, and it would be like mid push versus side push, and then it'll be a macro game. Props to XL for bringing it back, but I think Yike was playing top side the majority of the game. Massive props to him. He's unkilled so far this series, and I feel like this rookie jungler has had a pretty staple year. G2 dropped the ball in spring in trying to qualify to the finals, losing to Mad, but even in winter and now here in summer, Yike's been consistent.
And we've been talking about this. He was playing in the LFL last year, coming this year, having to replace Jankos and becoming one of the stable players that G2 has right now. And we hear it as well in comms and how he leads the team. Now, Yike is right now a complete player, maybe the best jungler we have in the league also.
I think a lot of it comes so much from his confidence. You heard it even early in winter. They sometimes had to keep the ego down a little bit, but the fact that a pro player so early into his career is willing to have the confidence is something you see so often in rookies when they come in as well. They have such a fire where they're willing to prove themselves, and Yike has been doing that in the beginning with his carries picks, then later on when he turned into the facilitator, and even now he's become this hyper-aggressive, flexible jungler that's such a two-thread jungler for G2.
And I think Ender poses a question of how did XL stay in this game then? I think if you look at the way the game works, if you make an active, proactive play upon a wave, you can punish, right? But these plays are backfiring for XL, so they won't actually lose anything after the kill, right? You're investing waves into bot to crash to get a kill. It doesn't backfire for you to lose gold, but they don't get denied gold, right? So it was only kill gold that actually got G2 these things, and it never really translated to neutrals and or wave denials. So that's how they stayed even. But I have to say the big thing for me was the Kai'Sa flex. I mean, we see Caps can now play the Kai'Sa. The flexibility is there on blue side, that Hans can then go Kog'Maw on 4-5. And again, just celebrating the fact that, you know, when you have Caps in your team, not only will you get a stand-up performance under pressure in-game, but again, in draft, you can play whatever you need.
And when you have the good side of Caps as well, because as I was saying earlier, I feel like all the G2 players are connected today, and they're all playing phenomenal. So when you're on XL shoes here, how do you turn this one around? They're going to change side. We'll see if it pays off, but what do you see here?
It's such a tough task, right? Because you can't really stay tilted in this position. You know, you're in a position where both times it could have gone so well for you. I think you don't change your game plan too much. You acknowledge how close it was. Now on blue side, you have to adapt some of the OPs.
I think Limit needs an engage support. Alistar's permabans, Rel's denied, need an engage support.
Well, G2 is one game away from now from their 11th LEC title and crushing the dreams of XL. Let's see if it can close it out. Quickshot, over to you.
The 11th title in 17 splits. G2 continues to be the most dominant organization here in Europe. They are now on the red side for Game 3, potentially the last of the summer split. And the question is, what are XL going to do? Game 1, try to go for late, didn't work. Game 2, try to go for early, didn't work. So what are we expecting?
You got this, Vedi?
Fortunately, it's not our job to figure out. It's
What would you like to see then? Because I think
I don't know, man. Like G2's breaking their ankles.
I think the call is to go back to late game. I think if you can try and control your mid jungle a little bit better than you did in game 1, that could give you the answer that you really need. But it is a very, very difficult question because realistically, as you say, nothing has been working for XL. They haven't been able to find any sort of win. And even if you do kind of go back to what we saw a little bit yesterday, which was as against Fnatic, XL were like, let's give a ton of resources to Odo on a carry champion. Well, it hasn't really had an opportunity to do so because, well, Rumble's been banned every single game.
Ivan, Jax. What will the final ban be here from XL? G2 have proven that Mikyx not a problem. The problem is, XL, can you say the same thing about G2? So, you know that Peach is good at the Mikyx. I believe you hit us with the stats. 6-1 was his score before this series. Now he's lost 2 games on it. Do they want to prioritize it again? Do they want the Jace? What about the Kai'Sa? Does the Kai'Sa in fact become the priority for XL? It is currently available. Jace, Mikyx, Kai'Sa, LeBlanc, it's all up. G2 just say that Poppy's a problem, Rel's a problem. But what else do they... Alistair would typically be the last ban. Are they going to look to ban that one away?
I think it has to be the Rumble. I mean, if you give that Rumble...
Oh, that's a good point.
But it's going to be the Mikyx. So I wouldn't be surprised if first pick Rumble here for Odo. Like, he looked fantastic on it yesterday, and that could be the difference maker here to actually give XL another point of pressure on the map.
The question is then, what does G2 have cooking? Because we've seen BrokenBlade playing exceptionally well throughout the course of these past 2 games. And with Rumble being open, it is a gigantic bait here. But so is that Kai'Sa, for example. Tristana was open too. And yes, the Rumble will be locked in here for Odoamne.
Okay.
Thing is, though, it opens up things like the Jace as well, right, for XL. So I think if you're G2 here, maybe you end up having to go Kai'Sa, Jace, try and take both away, and then potentially open up the opportunity for Patrik to go for Kalista, but not going to be the case. They're actually just going to opt into the Ornn in that top side instead for BrokenBlade, and now maybe they look for the Kai'Sa here. Yeah, that's going to be the select.
So we know that Kai'Sa's a flex. We are expecting the Ornn top lane. Xayah, Rakan. Okay, XL's team composition shaping up very clearly. They want a little bit more team fighting. They need a front line. They need some type of engage. Sejuani immediately rises in priority when you look at XL's composition, so I wouldn't be surprised to see G2 either take that away or ban it themselves. You've also got to think about how can G2 try and shut this down. Alistair is, of course, still up and available. Nautilus, Kai'Sa is something we've seen many times. But LeBlanc locked in 4 caps.
2 wins, 5 losses throughout the course of best of series.
But what's the caps win rate?
And 4
Quickshot.
caps, he has 1 of those 2 wins under his belt. It'll be the 2nd time and he's playing it here in summer. Tristana will be immediately removed from the pool by G2. So this will now potentially mean that it'll be Mikyx being pinched in that champion pool.
Yeah, it seems like it'd be Tristana, probably the Jace banned away here as well, just to make sure you can get rid of that. The traditional AD mid laners, still things like a Yone could be an opportunity here if you just want to go for a full wombo combo, like knock up into Equalizer, into the ult coming across from the Yone as well, could be a really good call. But again, I think looking towards Peach, I wouldn't be surprised you say Sejuani, potentially even a Jarvan pickup here could be an answer as well, just to try and get people locked up. But there is a lot of mobility that's on G2 side, so it may not be the best of opportunities, but might force an early ultimate out from Hansama.
Well, do you imagine the support bans come through from XL with this? I wonder if... Okay, maybe... Nah, it won't be Thresh, Alistair. Yeah, this is something we talked about earlier. So, engage support's very limited. Leona is another one to think about for Mikyx. Very experienced Leona player. If they feel like they need more frontline, they may very well choose to go for Braum again. I don't love Braum here, though. They may even just choose to lock in the Sejuani, as you were talking about, Rob. What direction? G2 have a lot of options. They're a very unpredictable team. What do they want to pair alongside this LeBlanc? But it will be the Leona that we just talked about.
All-time 18 games for Mikyx. And of course, throughout the course of summer, just 1 under his belt. And leave that jungle pool champion to Yike for last pick. And Peach, what direction does he go? That Sejuani is still open and available for him if he wants to deny that option. Pair it up with that Rumble. as well, and it'll be the Azir secured here for Abbedagge, so a little bit more of sort of late game options as well. Not a lot of frontline here, so that poke damage can be significantly more impactful.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out, like, do they preempt a Trundle just in case Yike goes towards the Sejuani? But they're just going to take the Sejuani instead. At least get themselves that engage tool. So,
Trundle.
yeah, that's where I think for Yike, you could probably opt in towards the Trundle here instead and just play for a strong mid jungle. Like, have an opportunity to play into this Azir. Also, just, as you say, you've already got great engage tools, so just being obnoxious on this pick could be super nice with the Trundle.
I don't love Kha'Zix.
No.
I mean, there's a lot of squishy champs.
It's locked in!
Okay, so basically, G2's arguing we have Leona and we have Ornn. We have enough of a front line. We have more than enough engage. Now we actually just want a strong early to mid game with a really powerful mid jungle duo, which when you have LeBlanc, Kha'Zix, you have a really strong mid jungle duo. That's a lot of setup with the LeBlanc chains, the damage from Kha'Zix. And then, of course, don't be surprised to see Mikyx roaming out on the map once again, just like he did in game 1. XL, though, they're looking a little bit more like team fighting to me, Dagda.
Yeah, definitely, especially when you've got the Rumble, the Azir, the good setup on the Sejuani. This is where we're going to have to see if they can try and set up those team fights effectively, where they can have that kind of front to back, where you can use the equalizer to separate out the team fights a little bit. But as we kind of already highlighted, a lot of mobility when it comes towards Caps, when it comes towards the Kha'Zix as well. So we'll have to see how they try and operate these team fights.
Let's find out who gets that early advantage, because it will accelerate quickly. As an aside, G2 Esports has never been reverse swept. For XL to even have a chance at the title of Summer Split champion, they have to win now. They have to keep pushing. And it's going to be a challenge into this LeBlanc Kha'Zix combination.
It has been 2 years since XL Esports were able to beat G2, and now one loss away. They have to find that magic.
As soon as we hit Summoner's Rift, it's G2 at least starting to group up. Bottom half of that map. BrokenBlade's with them as well. Maybe just defending. It's a little bit of a play. Patrik can find Hansama.
Going to take a lot of damage here as Hansama's going to back away. Last game we got to see Hansama put in the Kog'Maw when he played that against XL. 14 kills in the first series that they played, and ended up with a win in the last game. The Xayah was able to eke that out with a 15 kill in the last time these two teams faced up. So we'll have to see now if Hansama can once again find that moment to shine, or if XL can finally find that nail that can start to put into the G2 coffin.
And the thing is with Hansama is he's not afraid to go for AD or AP builds, right? He'll just flex depending on what his team needs. So if they feel like they're doing a little bit too much AP damage, he'll more than happily build that AD. You can hear the energy here in Berlin is electric. Strong support for both sides. And with the XL chants being a little bit louder right now, I do get the impression that some Fnatic fans have turned over as they want to see the fall of G2.
No doubt about it. With Odoamne's emotional discussion last night, the fact that he got to first pick the Rumble on his signature champion. Let's see if he can put XL in his backpack and try usher them to game 4. It's going to be a difficult task as Limits is already on that front foot, gets the knockup. Hansama dropped to 250, and very good trade. Will get the cleanse at least out of Patrik.
At least getting some sort of control on this bot side, but I think at the moment, XL is still getting the push that they need in. We're looking at where Peach is, though, moving up towards this top side, so at least XL will be isolated for Peach, for Patrik and Limit on the bottom end, whereas Abbedagge getting a good chunk back here, Caps.
Ish trade, Sand Soldier being sent forward will give Abbedagge this small advantage for now. Peach currently moving towards Yike's blue buff. No surprises to see Odo shoving forward. I mean, the crowd's still going wild here. Let's take a look at a potential skirmish between the bug and the ball. And immediately Caps starts to step towards the jungle. Last cone available for retreat, and Limit also on the move. Here comes Mikyx, 2v2, jungle and support. Limit Zenith Blade will connect. Patrik is available. Limit now will get the flash out of Mikyx. He's stunned in place. Yike tries to get that Q damage back. Hansama arrives. Void Seeker forward. Peach flashes to safety. Caught up by the Zenith Blade. First blade was secured by Abbedagge, but it's traded back in the jungle.
Hang on a minute. Caps just got solo killed. What? The last time these two met, it was Cap solo killing Abbedagge in game 1. To now see him step up, let's have a look back and see how this one happened. So Caps goes in for a bit of a trade. The shield comes through from the E from Abbedagge. Soldier hits. 2 soldiers hitting. I guess he hits him with the Q. What? Caps? What?
Does that remind you a little bit of Lucian play?
Something,
from
a little
last
bit,
week,
yeah.
You know, just in terms
something,
of
yeah.
some decision making. So first blood goes to Abbedagge, but in the jungle, Yike was able to get one back onto Peach. And of course, that is one of the danger champions here for G2.
And that's why I was kind of surprised to see Peach go that aggressive. You don't have to push him mid, like Caps could have roamed across, but went for the 1v1. And also your bot lane wasn't really in a position to deny Hansama and Mikyx entrance either, so it was a bit of a strange call. And Peach ends up paying for it, and now giving Yike that kill. If you find moments where you end up with like priority in mid or in bot side, you can actually use that to invade and really push Peach out of his own jungle.
Okay, so 1-1. Gold's still relatively even, but rarely do we see Abbedagge getting the lane advantage over a player like Caps, especially in final situations. Obviously, I mean, you can go into any thread, you check out social media, and everyone's like, is it Craps or is it Claps? And today, everyone was on the Claps hype train. He was looking strong. Obviously, I'm not going to count him down and out just yet. Caps has died before. He gave up first blood in the last game, actually, with a really great gank setup that we saw from XL's jungle mid support. So I expect him to very much bounce back. But Abbedagge, this is a great start for him. He's already kept the pressure up, going to keep that push going. And he has a small gold lead for now.
We saw there Mikyx just stepping towards the mid lane. Limit showed his face a moment before. Sand soldiers forward. Caps will get the chains. No further support. Yike shadowing that top lane for BrokenBlade. And now Peach on the assault. The wave is shoved forward. 10 CS advantage for XL. Can Peach try to mitigate this? Arctic Assault is available. Limit is just blown up underneath the tower. The damage is simply too much to deal with those turret shots. Another kill secured for G2. And that was definitely not the dive you're looking for.
But the fact that Limit got exploded before he even hit anyone in that one definitely helped out. So Hansama, yes, he gets a kill back, but still, massive wave loss on that bottom side. Yike now going to start to move in here, see if he can get control of River.
I mean, this was our criticism of XL in game 1, that they weren't actually trying to punish Hansama on the bot side of the map due to Mikyx roaming so much, but Limit just gets one shot. They are able to get that kill into Hansama, but Peach tanks one too many towers. On the screen in the bottom left, you can see the Odoamne forced to flash out as BrokenBlade forces an all-in, but I mean, credit to XL, they're able to get a kill onto Hansama. You can see a small advantage in favor of Patrik after Hansama did lose a very big wave, but still Hansama level 5 to Patrik's level 4, still relatively even. Well, they are dead even in gold, so ultimately not a huge win there for XL.
Yeah, they will though try and take over control of this river. Hansama going to spot them out there as Yike going to be forced to run away. This is kind of the downside, is that Mikyx isn't with you on this bottom side. You are very squishy, so Peach can't have his pick of the litter, but might be picked himself.
Will not get caught by that Zenith Blade. I think without the CC connection, Yike doesn't have enough time to get the damage down. He takes a chunk and escapes. All of a sudden, Limit looking for the engage. Flash for flash, Hansama away. And the battle dances backwards, but that is an opportunity in the middle lane. Emperor's Divide used by Abbedagge once Caps goes in for that trade. So on the bottom lane, juicy target on Hansama.
Yeah, unfortunately though, Peach doesn't have access to level 6. We'll have to clear this red and try and move back topside. So we'd love to try and exploit the fact that Hansama has no flash and won't have to cleanse up. But at that stage, you're looking at the Rift Herald, which is why G2 were like, cool, we're going to use this opportunity to take Dragon because we know that we won't be able to fight Rift Herald with the way things are going.
I gotta say, gentlemen, the laners are getting feisty in this game. We've been seeing fighting in mid, fighting top, fighting in the bot lane 2v2. While there has been a bit of skirmishing in the junglers have just kind of been there to cover, mitigate some of the aggression, as the laners are really just going toe-to-toe, and any of that rust and nerves that we were talking about from the first 2 games seems to have completely washed away, and now their experience is kicking in, and that confidence is something we're seeing a lot more from this XL squad.
I mean, for Limit rather, he's on that Rakan, which has been banned away in both of the previous games. He's a player that has a gigantic impact on the kill participation in the early stages for XL. 8% of 3 in the best ops. 76 kill participation, and we've seen him roaming, seen him jumping onto Hans Sama, forcing that flash out. And you see whether or not now we have that small level advantage, whether or not they want to try and punish Hans Sama, who's still flashless.
And this is the first time against G2 he's actually managed to get his hands on this for Khan. So definitely having that impact that I think G2 are a little bit nervous about, but we need to see him step up again once he can get access to this level 6. At the moment though, Hans is going in.
This is of course the cast the curse here as Limit steps away from lane. Patrik forced a flash, finds the Fender, Zenith Blade connects up around the Rift Herald. The equalizer is dropped down from Odo. Patrik is taken out from Hans Sama, and at the Rift Herald fight, Abbedagge joins the fray. Can't find the kill just yet as Odo is taken down. It's 2 for G2, and Peach will be the third. G2 winning across the map as Abba throws out the Emperor's Divide, needs the conquering shifting sands, and simply will not have enough time.
Nothing is shifting about this series. G2 got control in game 1, put their mark in game 2, and now are stomping in game 3 as well. 2-7, they win everywhere.
4 kills picked up across the map. 2v2 in the bot lane, 3v3 in the top. G2 have already accrued a 1.7k gold lead. And what I was just talking about, the confidence from XL, perhaps it was a little too much. XL begun the Herald.
Yeah, this is where you can see they're trying to get set up here, but again, BrokenBlade, brilliant ult in the choke. You get a good ultimate in response from Odoamne, which pushes Caps out, but as soon as that's gone, there's just too much damage that's able to come through, and Abbedagge a little bit late to the party, so Rumble already out of the picture, as G2 then wait for cooldowns onto Caps, and are just able to follow up with BrokenBlade. At this stage, the Ornn deals so much damage when he's able to get the brittle stacks.
Yeah. On that bottom lane as well, literally within a moment of limit, looking away from lane, Hans Sama and Mikyx start the engage. They force him so incredibly low, just chase him down for the kills. Despite being down CS, 2 kills and an assist. Stacks have completed for Hans Sama as well as Caps. You can see them being the gold leaders respectively. And as a team, G2 up 1,500 gold. The Rift Herald still available. BrokenBlade takes a chunk from Odo, and it is XL stepping into the pit first.
And that's the thing, the Rift Herald wasn't taking that equation, and they're playing off the fact that, hey, look, our ultimates come up that bit quicker. The Rumble ult up and available. Peach is not far around the corner, but I think they want to play for Odo here.
So LeFlare from Mikyx could be used, and G2 decide for now to back away. Perhaps trying to at least poke just a little. Considered the engage, decided against it, now XL. Turn their attention to BrokenBlade. Ult's up in 8 seconds. Flash is not available.
XL need to get a lot of this for Patrik though, because when you look bot lane, Hans Sama, 3 plates already taken. He's more than answered for that Rift Herald play that's going to come through. So XL, we'll have to see what they can do. But Peach actually backing away. He's very worried about his position on the map, but Abbedagge in mid.
2 secured in the middle lane, and of course with the fact that BrokenBlade backed away, top tower still remains relatively unscathed. G2 in a commanding position, and they just need to try to defend wherever this Rift Herald gets dropped. But for Odo on the Rumble, hasn't been able to garner the laning advantage that you would have hoped. You cannot deny the impact that his equalizer will have in any of these ensuing teamfights. For a minute to Dragon, his teleport is available. You need to keep a close eye on what's going to happen there.
I mean, you have to give a lot of credit to G2 in their adaptation from the last series to this one. We heard BrokenBlade talking on PGL the last time they faced off that he hoped that both teams would learn a lot from this. And I think the evolution that G2 have made in draft, I still question how much they've learned when it comes to playing around Baron. It does seem like that they're just like, do you guys want to start Baron? Yeah? Okay, cool, let's start Baron. But they make it work. Right now, they're just mechanically, I think, the best players that Europe has to offer right now. Hans Sama, Caps, Yike, BrokenBlade, even Mikyx, like, they just seem to be gapping their opposition as they have done a lot throughout this split. And while they fell short in spring, they're looking to reclaim that pedestal here in summer.
Herald used in the bottom lane, secures the tower. Some gold funneled into Patrik, but Hans Sama continuing to basically solo farm on the side lane. Level advantage and more plates under his belt. Herald gets another charge. Duskblade of Dagda has been picked up by Yike, so if he's able to find a target on this retreat, XL could be in trouble, and Abbedagge is just trying desperately to slow down the stash of LeBlanc, but 3.5 plates secured already. And every time we look middle, 30 CS advantage, and Abba playing on the back foot.
It's also the loss of control that you have on mid lane now is going to open up Yike to go over towards Dragon. Even with the position that they have in BrokenBlade, he's going to be here for the team fight as well. So I think XL kind of reading this, at least when you look towards Limit, you wanted to go up topside to Odoamne to make sure that he could actually get some of those plates before they drop in a minute, but may not be in a position to, as Hansama may look to move up and catch that wave as Yike solos out to the Dragon.
G2 slowly but surely taking over the game. XL have done a great job this series of securing early Drakes, but this time round, haven't really been able to get that level of control, just as you were talking about, Dagda. Right now, they're kind of posturing around mid lane. They're looking for a pick, won't be able to find it though. The mobility, enough there from XL's bot lane. Odoamne able to get a plate back in top. But yeah, no neutrals right now as Herald and Dragon are unavailable for a while. Careful though, Limits.
Right, Engage catches out onto Mikyx. Take a soul forward as well, and that will be a kill over 2XL to Patrik. A small solace. They are still 2,000 gold down. Being pushed around the map, down 2 dragons as well. Odoamne still hasn't yet to get involved in those bigger skirmishes. It's BrokenBlade, Call of the Forge God, and on the mini-map, there is Hansama making his way towards this top lane. Teleport coming in, but a little too late, I feel. Abbedagge now trying to get some damage in reply. Limit's quickness is unavailable because of the kill from earlier. Now BrokenBlade being burned down from the ignite. Patrik steps forward, forced to use the feathers. They fly, and Yike manages to find one on the back line, sinking the fangs in. It's a double, and so the kill secured 4 caps, and G2 find 4 kills.
XL are falling apart here at match point for G2. BrokenBlade so calmly sets up the combo onto Odoamne. Hansama picks up the kill, and as XL try to get something back, G2 just make it so much worse.
Yeah, and as you say, BrokenBlade knows he's got Hansama in the way. You've got the ultimate there. Hansama, as soon as he gets in range, of course that killer instinct will follow through. And Abbedagge doesn't even realize he's coming. There's no vision there. So he ends up TPing into what is a desperate spot as Caps matches that teleport. You've already got Yike in the way. Mikyx's going to be quicker on the run than Peach. So BrokenBlade with the flash baits XL that in that little bit too far. Caps baits out Patrik with the ultimate and just sets up for Yike to rip XL to shreds.
Just you can see all that mobility, right? The Kha'Zix from behind, the LeBlanc dashing back in and out. Hang on.
Jump into the mid lane. Hansama's able to cleanse and flash away. 3 members of XL were just waiting in the bushes. Mikyx forced to flash as well. Peach goes over. No follow-up yet. Zenith Blade descends Mikyx forward, and Odo's finally arrived. Drop the red carpet down, but G2 have moved away. Teleport completed as BrokenBlade is now being chunked out. No Forge God available, and XL on retreat. BrokenBlade manages to use that balance breath to find a kill, and Caps distorting forward. Here comes Yike. He can taste the fear on XL's lips. Odo finally gets at least 1 reply. A double knockup from Limit, but there's no damage. There's no follow-up. There's no support as XL are routed and wrecked and running for their lives. Abbedagge's got flash available to him, but I think G2 have managed to make it away. That's a start. The ace! There is nothing that XL can do!
How many times are G2 going to get away with blinking health bars? BrokenBlade's ultimate comes up at the perfect moment to shut down any hope for XL. And once again, it's G2 in control.
It is difficult to watch as XL, their plays, they feel like they're so close. A tiny bit more damage is all they need. They start off by finding a great pick onto Hans, but they can't quite get the kill. They get the summoners out. Now Mikyx is in an awkward position, so as 3, they're thinking, oh, maybe we can get something here. This overcommittal from Peach is where things start to go wrong. They should have been happy with the flashes. Rumble's ultimate comes down. XL look at the HP bars of G2 and say, this is winnable, but little did they know that this is G2's comfort zone.
And this is desperation from XL. They're throwing everything they can to find anything they can muster against G2, but G2 are just outplaying them every step of the way. And even here, Odoamne, he turns around and says, look, I'm in enemy territory. Maybe I can make something happen with Abbedagge coming through, but he goes down. Abbedagge just shy
He's
on the size of shoot. Oh, Mikyx. That was gorgeous. And then here, just one more auto. And perfect timing for the ult from BrokenBlade.
It's a heartbreaker to watch. You can see the frustration on Odo's face. Mikyx does it again. You know, first time you could say it was a fluke. Second time you could say it's a coincidence. But the third time, nah, man. Mikyx is having a monster performance.
For G2, it is a return to form. I mean, take a look at their placements since spring 2019. They've been in 17 splits, they've won 10 titles, on the verge of making it 11. Faltering in spring. But this time round, I mean, what did you say earlier, Vedius? Broke the ankles of XL. Game 1 was all about the lanes. Game 2 felt like hand diff. Game 3 feeling somewhat similar. XL need a miracle. Call the Forge God won't find much. Yike, however, will assassinate Patrik. Mikyx is surviving once again and sidesteps Peach's assault. And Mikyx stays alive long enough for G2 to find 4 kills. They are styling on XL. And Caps will just be unable to take down Limits.
That's just rude at this stage. I mean, give them something. I mean, 20-4 on the scoreline. The tower will fall. G2 will push in. That was, come on.
Mikyx has reclaimed his status as the god of supports here in Europe. What an incredible split from him. The fact that he continues to survive, obviously a lot of focus is on him, but the entire G2 roster is just dismantling XL. The last time they met, it was a close 5-game series, but right now, G2 are demolishing XL. We look at the engage. Immediately, Hansama goes to the backline. Well, he actually just melts through Peach. Yike basically gets a solo kill onto Patrik as Odoamne and Peach. Look at the sidestep there from Mikyx. Odoamne, his ultimate went completely wide. And you can see that XL are beginning, well, if they haven't already, they're crumbling.
It's 19 minutes into the game, a 10,000 gold lead. And G2 can play whatever they want to do for the next few minutes. 4 minutes until Seoul. I'll take a quick moment here before we potentially close the series out. Quick reminder that our season finals, looking towards Montpellier, looking towards the World Championship. It starts August 19th at 4 o'clock. Spread the word, set your alarms. August 19th, 4 o'clock. As G2 step into the Baron Pit, completely uncontested. Secure this objective, and for XL, they now need to hope that G2 overstep, because without that, if they're in that straight up 5v5, there's just too much of an item disparity.
I think it's you have to wait for G2 to overstep and then stumble and then maybe forget how to plug in their keyboards and then bring it back into that stage, because this gold lead and a Baron, it is so incredibly high right now. I just don't see how XL can find a way back into this.
A lot of damage there from Caps already. 3 items completed, 4,000 gold up. See Yike plus 3k, I mean, it just is a gigantic difference. And I think, interesting note there, for the season finals, G2 will be able to pick between BDS and XL, actually, as their first round opponents. So could be seeing this matchup once more. But for now, G2 are just using that Baron buff to push all 3 lanes. Teleport is available for BrokenBlade. He's up in that top lane as Caps is literally soloing mid for now against 2. Another tower is going to fall. Where do XL decide to stand? Where do they pull the trigger?
Well, they're going to have to make a stand in the bot lane, I think, with the wave sieging in. Caps is pushing in mid. XL are getting chipped away at, though they might just dive this G2.
There's so much poke damage from Hansama. Void off the Void. Caps sending out the static shifts. Call of the Forge God out, and Abbedagge is removed from the fight. Limit gets a decent knock-up, and the Equalizer burns some of G2's health bars, but it's 2 kills secured, a third to follow, and red lights are blinking for G2, but the trophy is in their eyes. The shield is available today, and all of a sudden, the inhibitor turret being focused, Caps is on to the Nexus.
The god of death has arrived today, but it seems blind to G2 as not a single member falls with the Nexus in their eyes.
It is undeniable the impact that G2 have had here in Europe. 17 splits, 10 titles secured already, and it feels like the inevitability of G2 has arrived, but I'm stepping ahead of myself. All of a sudden, XL, by a few more seconds, they force G2 away and put me in a slightly awkward position. The exposed Nexus, however, is potentially being chipped down. Are G2 going to stick for
We
this?
used all our cool lines and they're not going to end yet.
Hey, I shut up. I didn't say anything.
Oh, you still got your line? Okay, good, okay. Come back to you in a second. I mean, G2 have done the damage. We're going to look back at this fight. We talked about the potential dive. BrokenBlade doesn't hesitate. And frankly, you talked about overstepping Quickshot. I thought this was it. Look at him. There's a good charm and engage from Limit onto the backline. The Rumble ultimate is massive too, but the gold disparity is just too much. They don't quite have the damage. And G2 once again, blinking health bars. It is the story of this whole series. They walk away deathless.
There's no turret to stand between XL and G2. 1, 2, 3 members in the base, 4 now. BrokenBlade gets knocked up, calls the Forge God. Void spikes out, won't be able to get the secondary. But Patrik has thrown out the feathers. Yike manages to find at least something back. Feathers pulled, Hunt Summer's godlike. That's one. That's the dash from Hunts of the Killer Instinct. 2, 3, 4 secured. The Nexus is focused. And the inevitability of G2's dominance is undeniable. For the 11th time, G2 are your champions. Undeniable that today G2 were the significantly better team. Do not discount 10th, 2nd from XL.
I mean, it's unfortunate for XL. Not exactly the way they would have liked to see this finals go down. They really did an absolute number to force themselves from, as you say, 10th, 0-3 into taking second place, but there's nothing you can do when G2 stand tall.
LEC viewers around the world, G2 are your Summer Split champions! They've hoisted the shield twice this year. The #1 seed going into the season finals.
An impressive run. G2, they didn't have the strongest spring. They fell short to Mad Lions, but they bounced back after MSI. And all eyes are on them going into the season finals. Their second shield of the year. They're looking to take it all in the season finals. They're looking to secure a spot at Montpellier. And they're looking as likely one of the heavy favorites to represent Europe at Worlds.
Undoubtedly, the strongest organization Europe has ever produced. And as we start to step into the season finals, as you say, they are the Goliaths to take down. They are the team that everyone is focusing to see if they can deny them that opportunity to raise this season's trophy and get themselves to Worlds as Europe's #1 seed.
17 splits, 11 titles. Seemingly endless ability to find success. So in fans, yeah, let's go G2 chance to round out the day. We will be speaking to the players in PGL, so do not go anywhere. Very intrigued to see where they will go.
Roman has yoinked it, he said it. He's like, okay, this is ours now, right? We can just take this, we can head off.
I mean, dual wielding the shields is a little bit less lethal than G2 looked today, I will say.
But I mean, I will also say that I know fans, they were skeptical. You know, there was a strong minority that sat there and said, how strong are they really looking if they're going close 5 games against XL? Is this really what the best Europe has to offer? Apparently this is the best what Europe has to offer right now. G2 looked commanding, convincing, and they're looking like, I think, the world's definitely going to keep their eyes on this G2 roster, that's for sure.
And it definitely feels like the story of redemption for so many of these G2 players is still on the road. You look at Hansama coming across, doubters were saying, what can he achieve? And he steps up to be the strongest AD carry we have in Europe at the moment. What can Caps do when it hasn't been his time? Well, he steps up and has a incredible performance in game number 1 of this series to show just what G2 are capable of. It looks like G2 are here to stay, and they want to show just how strong they can be as a unit.
Creativity, the ability to play everywhere at all times. G2 are your champions. I believe Caps is sitting down with trouble.
Thank you very much. Quickshot. I'm sitting here with the victorious Caps. Caps, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yet another one to add to your collection. You are now the most decorated player in EU history. How does that feel?
Pretty good, pretty good. For sure good.
I want to ask you something. You were tied with one player for the most trophies, and now you have surpassed that player. Do you know who that player might be?
Perks.
It was indeed Perks. You've played with him, you've played against him, and now you've solidified yourself at the very top. What does this trophy mean to you after so many trophies? What does this one mean for you?
I think it means a lot to me, especially because we just have improved a lot throughout the split, and it feels very nice to have like our hard work rewarded. I think the split we really tried to step up our gameplay compared to like MSI. And the disappointing like spring split ending. So I'm just super happy with how it worked. I'm super proud of my teammates as well, and I'm just looking forward to what more we can do.
Every time we've chatted in previous splits, Caps, you were very critical about yourself and that you have to step up your performance, you have to be better. Any words about your development throughout the year?
I mean, it's definitely been a fun year for me. I think we did a lot of changes this year, and I actually did last year as well. So I've been playing with a lot of new teammates, and I think it's been interesting to see like different points of views. I think on the old G2, a lot of things we were like very on the same page on, but now there's like new opinions, new ways to play, and I think it's always fun to try new things. so I'm enjoying that a lot, and I think now we are starting to come together a lot. I think as a team, and I think we can be very good.
Now, of course, looking forward from your MSI performance, guys, we talked to Dylan as well, and he said, you know what Asian teams do really well is setting up for objectives, is team fighting. We're going to try to implement this into our gameplay. Do you feel like this G2 that we saw today, that we've been seeing through the last couple of weekends, actually implemented those changes from MSI?
For sure, yeah. I mean, I think we improved a lot and we added all the things. I think sometimes we still fail to execute some of them. But it just takes practice and it takes work. I think especially last week, once we went later in the series, I think we started like forgetting some of the things we were doing very well. And I think we really need to like practice when it's like high pressure situations to still perform.
Now, everyone's looking ahead to the season finals and, of course, an opportunity and a ticket possibly to Worlds. And there's always the same question about G2. Is this the best iteration of G2? I'm not going to ask you if this is the best. I'm going to ask you, how is this one different from the 2019 G2?
I mean, I can go on and on about all the differences. I mean, I think just in terms of like even from drafting phase, right, we play a very different game than the old G2. I think old G2 was maybe like pure chaos, and we were just like thinking out a lot of things on the fly. I still think we are very like chaotic, and we still like to do a lot of things like that, but it's a bit more controlled. And with that comes, I guess, a bit more predictable, but also at the same time we get to practice the same things a lot more, and we get to master it. So I'm very confident in my team, and I'm looking forward to the LEC finals. Hopefully we get a BO5 against Fnatic. We'll see about it.
Okay, maybe BO5 versus Fnatic. That would be really fun to see for the season finals. Now, of course, Caps, been through many iterations of G2, been in many finals, won many titles. Is there any shout out you'd like to make towards anyone who supported you, the fans, the team, your teammates, anyone?
I mean, everyone. I think everyone deserves a shout out. I mean, for sure, big shout out to the fans. I mean, even today, thank you guys so much for cheering. Thank you. It's awesome to have so much support. I really appreciate that, and also, of course, to my family watching at home, my dad here as well. I really appreciate it, and I think that and also, of course, also the rest of my teammates, right? As I said, like I think everyone has put in a lot of work, and I'm super excited to see how we will, perform the rest of the year.
All right, Caps, I'm gonna give my production a headache. Where is your dad? Where is Caps' dad in the crowd? Is he here?
Oh.
Can we call him over here on stage to give us his thoughts about today? Can we have him here? I said I'm gonna give the production a little bit of headache because they won't have the right lighting for him. But Caps, everyone loves your dad and his support that he's given you. I'm gonna get up. Oh, you wanna give him the position? Okay. You don't mind giving the microphone to your dad? You can take my position. It's okay, you can take mine.
Okay.
Can we have any few words for Caps, for G2, for winning yet another title?
Congratulations. You have... I know for sure you have worked very hard, and each of you have swallowed a lot of personal things, but you have done it. And I don't play the game, but I have seen a lot of games, and you are playing like a team, and I'm proud of that.
Thank you so much for joining us here. Congratulations, Caps, again. Over to PGL with Handsama and Mikyx.